But even till today, we receive cases where the prosecution is relying upon confession made before the police. So that we thought that there was a disconnect between what we do in the courts and what the investigating officer is taught or the investigating officer knows. So there was a dire necessity of the investigating officers being told what should be constituted or created in every district. And those committees will be, the task of those assessment committees will be to scrutinize all the cases in that district, all criminal cases in that district in which the accused persons were acquitted or were admitted to bail. They should study all those cases, that why the courts disbelieved the prosecution evidence. There must be some reason recorded in the judgment. One was not known to the investigating officer. So those assessment committees, we have made it flexible. In every district the SP can choose different members of the society, and we have suggested to them that the assessment committee should include at least one retired sessions judge who has been a judge, who knows the working of the police and the criminal cases. There should be some young lawyers involved in that assessment committee who have the energy, who have the enthusiasm to study all those judgments, to make out a gist of what the bases were for acquittal or bail, and so that every month a report is then a report is made and submitted that these are the defects on which so many people got acquitted in this district. And then it will be the duty of the police officers in the district that report and those reasons should be conveyed to all the police officers who are tasked to investigate cases, so that this mistake is not repeated in the next case. So this is the second step that we are actually now working on before we move on to the third step. So it's a gradual fulfillment of our desire or our wish or our dream that we have to improve the police system, the police force. We have to make it efficient, we have to make it competent, we have to ensure that it is independent, and so that it delivers for the betterment of the society. Now, some justice sector reforms have simultaneously been taken in the judicial field. In the judicial side, we realized that there are two problems in our criminal justice system, two very basic problems. There must be 101 problems otherwise. But we have to go for the jugular vein. We have to go for the real cause, so that if we can attend to that cause, the whole thing will start mending itself. For that purpose, we realized, on the basis of our own combined collective experiences, that the first problem is falsehood in testimonies, false testimonies. The second problem is the delays. So we thought that we must attack on both these fronts. False testimonies, it's unfortunate that in the year 1925, some British judges of the Lahore High Court, they gave a judgment that in every part of the world, when somebody is dying, he is not likely to tell something which is untrue. He is not likely to make a false statement because he is leaving the world. He is going to meet his Creator. So he is not likely to tell a lie. So the dying declaration has a sanctity attached to it. But, they said, it's a big but. There is one part of this planet Earth, which is the Indian subcontinent, where even on their deathbed, people will falsely accuse their enemies so that they are entangled in a false case and they suffer. Even when I am gone, my enemies should keep on suffering. They said this is unfortunately not only recognized by us every day, but also recognized by outsiders, the foreigners who came here, and even they noticed this. So false testimonies was the first problem. In every murder case, we see that the eyewitnesses are either the father of the deceased, or the uncle of the deceased, or a brother of the deceased, or some cousin of the deceased. It is strange that every murder in this country takes place in front of a father, or a brother, or a cousin, or an uncle, and not otherwise. Even in cases where occurrences take place in forsaken places, in an open field with no habitat around it, but even then somehow some brother or some cousin happens to be passing that way at 2 a.m. in the morning from that field, and he is made an eyewitness. So there's something seriously wrong. We said we'll catch the bull by its horns. We will tackle this issue. It may take some time, it may result in some acquittals to start with, but once the message goes across that false testimony will not be acceptable, maybe a couple of hundred people will get acquitted, but for the longer interest of our society and criminal justice system, we have to come down very clearly that false testimonies will not be acceptable. There is a saying in the legal parlance, falsus in uno, falsus in omnibus. False in one respect, false in all respects. So if a witness tells a lie on one aspect, then the entire testimony of that witness will be discarded. Even in the Islamic jurisprudence, that's the principle. If you tell lie once, you are banished from a court of law forever. You can never be a witness again. But somehow, because of some exigencies or some practical considerations, it was thought way back in the year 1951 by Chief Justice Munir of the fame of doctrine of necessity. He also, his lordship introduced this, that in this part of the world, because people tell lies, and if we start acquitting people on the basis of such lies, then there will be no conviction. So because we have to convict people, so we will accept lies. The approach is wrong. The approach has destroyed the moral fiber of the society as far as legal system is concerned. People come and tell lies in the court under oath, pose themselves as witnesses, and they know nothing about that case. So we have decided that enough is enough. We will not tolerate it any further. If we have to live as a decent society, and if we have to have a just system in the society, if we have to make sure justice in the society, then no falsehood will be tolerated. So right now, we changed the law. We gave judgment, very strong judgment. I fortunately was the author of that judgment. Very strong words used, and we said nothing doing, no more lies. And we have started prosecuting false witnesses. So at the moment, I think about 15 eyewitnesses of murder cases are being tried for committing perjury in courts of law in different parts of Pakistan. The next extension of this principle will be that all those investigating officers who knew that these witnesses are false, why did they put their names in the challans as eyewitnesses? They share responsibility. They will be prosecuted as accomplices of such perjury and will not spare them. So let this be a warning to all the investigating officers in the country that falsehood will not be tolerated. And if you allow falsehood to go to a court or reach a court, then you will be tried as an accomplice, and then whatever the consequences that are followed, not only vis-a-vis your own independence or liberty, but also regarding your service, you should be ready to face those consequences. Devise some other methodology of investigation. Devise some other mechanism. Have recourse to modern technology. Have recourse to circumstantial evidence. Have recourse to fingerprints. Have recourse to the very good laboratories now, forensic science that we have, laboratories in this country. Our laboratory in Lahore, Forensic Science Agency, is acknowledged as second best in the world. So take use of that agency. So false witnesses, no more acceptable. So that's one area where in the justice sector reform we have taken a very big step. Like Neil Armstrong said when he landed on the moon, a small step for man, but a giant leap for mankind. So it may be a very small step as far as that judgment is concerned, but it's a giant leap for our justice system. Today some people will be acquitted. Maybe in a year or 2 years some people will be acquitted. But then the message will go across that anything false in a case, the whole case goes. Then we will have pure justice, the kind of justice that we tell our children about when we go and in other countries of the world. We see that people don't tell lies in the courts. We as a Muslim society have a greater responsibility to be adhering to the truth and nothing but the truth. The other aspect was delays. In the criminal justice sector, we sat together, judges, we pooled in our knowledge and resources, experiences, and then decided that we don't need any change of laws. We don't need any change of procedure. We don't need to have new courts. We don't have to have new judges, new lawyers. Within the system, there are things that we can handle. We can correct some of those things, and this very system will start delivering. For that, I told a small example from my area. I come from Dera Ghazi Khan, which is a very far-flung area of Punjab. There is a bridge over River Chenab passing from very close to Dera Ghazi Khan, which connects Dera Ghazi Khan with Multan. That bridge, you also have such bridges from the British times, the girders, लोहे के बड़े होते हैं ऊपर नीचे बंद, जिनके अंदर से ट्रेन जाती है और ऊपर से फिर बाद में ट्रैफिक जाती है. There was a truck which got stuck in that bridge. वो ऊपर से ज़्यादा overloaded था, तो ऊपर से वो कहीं फंस गया. ट्रेन के आने का टाइम हो गया. बहुत से लोग इंजीनियर्स बुलाए, बहुत से माहिर बुलाए कि अब इसका क्या करें. इतने मोटे मोटे गार्डर जो 200 साल से पड़े हुए हैं कैसे काटेंगे, इतनी देर में कैसे ट्रक निकलेगा और ट्रेन निकलेगा. एक चरवाहा साथ ही बकरियां चरा रहा था. उसने कहा मसला क्या है. उन्होंने बताया जी ट्रक फंस गया. उन्होंने कहा कहाँ फंस गया. उन्होंने कहा जी इस पुल में फंस गया, ये ऊपर वाले गार्डर से वो उसका सामान फंस गया, तो कैसे करें. तो उसने कहा नो प्रॉब्लम, टायरों की हवा निकाल दें. वो टायरों की हवा निकाली, वो 6 इंच नीचे हो गया, ट्रक निकाल दिया. So I gave this example to my friends and colleagues that we don't have to have commissions, we don't have to have conferences and spending days and millions of rupees on research to find solutions when very simple solutions are available. And as far as delays are concerned, we decided on 3 things. Number one, that there will be no adjournment of a case. Cases are fixed for hearing, not for adjournment. And in fact, in my courtroom for the last many years, there has not been any adjournment at all, because I declared that adjournment सिर्फ 2 सूरत में होगी, कि या वकील साहब फौत हो जाएं या जज साहब रहलत फरमा जाएं. So, or in English I translated, I said if the lawyer dies or the judge passes away. तो उन्होंने कहा ये आपके मुख्तलिफ अल्फाज क्यों हैं. मैंने कहा जरा जज साहब को थोड़ी सी ज़्यादा इज़्ज़त से रवाना करना है. So, first of all, the message is that there should be no adjournment at all. The lawyer should have other engagements. He can make his own arrangements. But the case which is fixed for hearing will be heard and decided. The second decision that we took was that there was a rollover system. A sessions judge would have maybe 50 trials going on at the same time. He will record one statement of a witness in one case, then adjourn the case for another day. He will take up another case, record 2 more statements, take up the third case, hear arguments in an application in the third case. So he will be handling about 15 to 20 or 30 cases every day, but they're all rolling over together. We said, no, this is wrong. When a case starts, that will be the only case being heard by the judge, and it will proceed from day to day. It will not be adjourned, and once that case is finished, then the next case will be taken up. The third step was even bigger. Then most of these cases, except for the private complaints instituted by the complainant himself, most of the cases in our criminal justice system are state cases. They are challan cases. In a challan case, in a state case, it is the state which is prosecuting. What we have started seeing was that it was the complainant party which used to bring its witnesses to the court. We said it is not the responsibility of the complainant. The complainant's job was to inform the police, and he has done his job. His job is over. It is now the state which will prosecute. So it will be the responsibility of the state to produce witnesses. We created focal persons in every district, focal persons in SP's office, and the court will inform that in such and such case, such and such witnesses are to be produced by the state, and the SP of the area will tell his staff to make sure that those individuals are produced before the court on the given day. So there is no adjournment. Every witness is in attendance. Then with all these three decisions, we said we will launch it as a pilot project, as a model court in every district. So we chose one judge, serving judge, district judge, in every district, and said that you are a model court and you will follow these three things. We gave them extensive training, and then in 116 districts of Pakistan, one judge on the criminal side in the district courts was declared as model judge. No change of laws, no new court, no new procedure, same judge, same lawyer, same cases, same police. And then in the last 86 days that we have come up with these model courts, you will not believe the results. The results are that in these 86 working days, the model criminal courts, the trial courts, have decided 9,767 murder and narcotics trials. 9,700 trials, not of petty cases like theft or stolen property, no. Murder trials, narcotics trials. And the good news is that in 12 districts of Pakistan, we have zero pendency of murder trials and narcotics trials. I'll give you the names of those districts. We are so happy over these results that within the same system, we could achieve this only because we just fine-tuned the same system. The districts where zero pendency of murder and narcotics trials has been achieved in these 86 days is in Balochistan, it's Barkhan district, Dera Bukti, Harnai, Kalat, Kohlu, Panjgur, Ziyarat. In Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Kolai, Palas, Lower Kohistan, these districts, zero pendency of murder and narcotics cases. In Punjab, Jhelum, which is a very big station, Jhelum, Bahawal Nagar and Lodhra, zero pendency of murder trials and narcotics cases trials. And in 5 other districts, the pendency is in single digit, less than 10. So in the next week or so, a week or 2 weeks, even those 5 districts, so we'll have 17 districts with no pendency of murder trials. This is absolutely phenomenal, unbelievable. It's exactly reminds me of that shepherd who gave truck mein se hawa nikal, tyro mein se hawa nikal. We did nothing. We just fine-tuned the same system. And then we are grateful to the police. The police gave us full support. In every case, the witnesses are produced, all the witnesses, the SHO is present, the investigating officer is present, the doctor's statements are being recorded on the Skype. The prisoner who is sitting in jail, who has not been brought to the jail, his statement is being...
कराची में चीफ जस्टिस पाकिस्तान आसिफ सईद खोसा तकरीब से खिताब कर रहे थे। उन्होंने कहा कि तफ्तीशी अमल को बेहतर करने की ज़रूरत है। तफ्तीशी रिपोर्ट में भी खामी की वजह से कई मुजरिम बरी हो जाते हैं। दूसरी जानिब आप ये देख सकते हैं कि वज़ीर आज़म पाकिस्तान इमरान